possibly. How's your
Well, there we
weekend
go.
been?
Pretty good. Pretty active weekend. Was down in Philly yesterday. Enjoying the sights. Went to some museums, went to some restaurants. Enjoyed myself. Did some shopping. Um, just enjoyed the lovely spring, late spring, early summer weather.
It's been nice and
What?
cool early in the day, and then it really heats up, which I've not been a fan of.
I'll just bring out your parasail so you have some shade
Uh-huh.
and enjoy a town. What about yourself? I know you were doing some boating.
Yeah, I went out on the boat.
Played some
Um,
Steely Dan.
no,
Enjoyed the some
no.
yacht rock.
Well, because the kids were on the boat, he played some of the songs. Amy's dad played some of the songs that they like, which
Such
included
as
Gangnam
Steely.
Style.
Okay, wow, that's actually a bit of a throwback at this point.
Oh, you think that's a throwback? What does the fox say?
Wow, these are all like 10 years old at this point. I don't think this is.
They're older than most of the kids that were on the boat. Um, what was the other one? Fucking Crazy Frog.
Okay, that's like 2004.
Yeah. To which I leaned over to Amy and said, "You know what the original name of the song was?" And she's like, "I don't
finally
care."
hit one. Guys, you guys have been doing
Okay.
it? Guys.
That's probably that's probably the correct response to anything related to Crazy Frog.
I was like, it's called Axel F. And then I hadn't realized that they did a bunch of those, and it started playing. Oh, there was another one. Oh, it was a really recognizable song with just Crazy Frog scatting over the top of it. Uh-oh. There goes Cooper. I got to carry this on my own now. Yeah, anyway, boats are nice. It was crazy visiting their house. To be wealthy is quite something. A little bit different than sitting in your basement recording a podcast. Hopefully Cooper comes back here soon, but the fact that he is no longer on Discord entirely, I'm a bit worried. Let me send him a text here. Could just be. Oh, there he is. I was about to text you.
Oh,
You back?
sorry about that.
Yeah, you kicked the power button on your PC or something?
No, Discord just freaked out for a sec. You talking about Crazy Frog?
Yeah. There was another song that started playing immediately after that had just Crazy Frog scatting over the top of it, but I can't remember what it was. It was very recognizable. I'm like, oh, this is a good song. And then I heard Crazy Frog. I'm like, oh, please don't play the whole thing.
So this was the dad's impression. That's what kids are listening to nowadays.
That's the kids on the boat loved it.
Well, I mean, some music I guess is just timeless.
Yeah, Crazy Frog transcends all generations. He also played
like
some modern polka music.
I'm sure you love that.
I did. Amy did not enjoy me bopping along to it. And then what else was there? They played some clips from Caddyshack for some reason. I think at that point he was just watching stuff on his phone.
And they're just listening to the audio of Caddyshack.
It was one of the characters. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Caddyshack. It's on my to-watch list. But,
it's a good movie. But I mean, but it's also I wouldn't just listen to clips of it.
It was just like a supercut of one character, all the lines that he had.
That's the point where you lose your ox privileges.
He's the driver. He owns the boat. I don't think anybody can take that away.
You could take the ox away, that's for sure.
It was Bluetooth, so. But yeah, it was a good time. I've had way too much to drink this weekend.
Well, that's why you get on a boat.
Well, I had too much to drink before we got on the boat.
Oh yeah, you pregame and then you have a little more on the boat.
Well, it started Thursday night because I played some. Matt's family and I and one of his high school friends have a Civ 5 game going, which has been really fun. But I had a beer or two with that, and then Amy came
A
over.
beer or two. Okay, that's not too much drinking.
Well, okay, let me finish. And then Amy came over, and I had a quart of Modelo.
A quart?
Yeah, they sell it in quart bottles.
I didn't know they. Wow, that's a lot of any liquid, really.
And then I also had a pina colada and 2 gin and tonics.
Wow, that actually is a lot.
Yeah, I didn't feel drunk by the end of it. Probably because the gin and tonic was mostly tonic, rather.
That's what you wouldn't feel anything if it was mostly gin.
Yeah, no, lots of tonic, lots of ice, but it was good. Very dry.
I like a good gin and tonic.
That was my first proper one I'd ever had.
A little bit of mint.
Yeah.
Julep in it.
Well, we didn't. It was just lime. No,
that's right.
No mint. And then earlier today I mixed up my Greek chicken salad. One of those $5 rotisserie chickens from Sam's Club. You tear that up. You don't even have. It's cheaper than buying chicken and cooking it. If you ever need shredded chicken, that's where you go.
And then you just have a ready-to-made salad, basically.
Mm-hmm. I had to chop up some tomatoes and cucumber to go in it as well. But I'm glad I bought the big thing of Greek yogurt. I was upset when I was at the store because the little ones were all sold out, but I actually needed a lot more because this chicken had a lot of meat on it. Otherwise, I would have very dry chicken salad.
Very chickeny chicken salad.
It is very chickeny, but I guessed the ratio pretty good with the cucumber and tomato. It balances it out. Well, you want to get on into it then?
I say we jump in.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week we are talking about Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. As we briefly mentioned last week, I was listening to the 10-year anniversary edition because it had been 10 years since Random Access Memories came out.
It's true. And now it's not. Now it's been longer than 10 years.
Yes, because it's no longer the day of. But yeah, it came out in 2013, right?
Came out May 17th, 2013.
And it was their last album.
It was 10 years ago. And
now we can say the deluxe edition of the Tron soundtrack is no longer the last published album by Daft Punk. It is now the 10-year anniversary edition of Random Access Memories.
I never really considered deluxe editions to be like, quote unquote, like the latest release, right?
Yeah.
At least from an emotional perspective.
I agree, yeah. But when they didn't break up until what, like 2020?
2021?
2021?
Something like that.
So they just didn't make any music for 8 years?
I mean, maybe they had something cooking. They're like, this isn't working. Let's just call it here. Which, I can respect.
That's fair.
They ended on a high note.
Than whatever the hell
We've certainly seen
doing.
many an artist who publishes past their prime.
Yeah.
So I can respect them having like a tight, 5 album if you count the Tron Legacy soundtrack discography.
But man, 4 albums in like 30 years?
No, if you consider when they were like, 96 to 2013. So that's still pretty spaced out.
That's not, but you also got to consider the cultural impact as well.
Oh, yeah.
They were very impactful.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's familiar with Daft Punk.
Yeah. Really bringing electronic to the forefront, especially with the lead single of this album. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't you give us a little bit of the history, Cooper?
Of course. So Daft Punk, they were, past tense, a French electronic music band formed all the way back in 1993. So it's also probably their 30-year anniversary as well as a band.
Speaking of word, did you see what song I linked to that to the word there?
I didn't realize that was a what you say. My favorite Daft Punk song. Formed by, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Guy Manuel de Holman Cristo and Thomas Bangalter. Probably didn't pronounce that right, since they're French,
Yeah.
and I don't have very good French
do they
pronunciation.
pronounce it Thomas?
Do they? I don't know.
I feel like they do. I might be mixing it.
I'm
with
not going to do that. Thomas.
Thomas.
Thomas. So they kind of got into with the French house music scene. It's kind of their initial claim to fame. Everyone loves a good house music album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why you do not?
No, I'm just got something in my throat.
Oh yeah, come on, you. Sam, last time I checked, you've lived in a house, so
technically any music you play in a house is house music.
Yeah. So they were very popular there. Their first album was definitely house music, Homework. I'm not sure the last time you've listened to that album, Sam,
It's been a hot second.
It is very different from this album. It is a very, very noisy album.
Yeah. My go-to is Discovery usually,
which I do still like it, but it's also very techno, and very house.
Mm-hmm.
But they branched out in later albums, obviously leaning a lot more to the not of the electronic, which they've always kind of been a part of, but funk, disco, indie rock, soft rock, and this one particularly.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they started as house, but they really branched out to a lot of different genres. Random Access Memory is their fourth and Teardrop final studio album, which was released, like I said, in May 17th of 2013. So
wow, that's
10 years ago.
Very far in the future.
Yeah. So it's kind of a tribute to like 70s and 80s music. It's got some funk, a little bit of disco, a lot of soft rock in it.
Mm-hmm.
Got some features as well. Obviously, it was their final album before their disbandment 8 years later. So it's the only Daft Punk album to actually top the US Billboard 200, certified platinum. Its lead single, Get Lucky, became one of the best-selling digital singles of all time.
Yeah.
Won several Grammys in the 2014 Grammys, including Album of the Year, Best Dance Album, and Best Engineered Album. Get Lucky also won a Record of the Year and Best Pop Duo Performance. So this album swept the Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
And Rolling Stones ranked it the 295th greatest album of all time. And they have no bias. What was their number one album again?
Yeah, wait, what's the number one album? Who do they consistently rank at the top? Gee, I don't know. Sam, I got an album coming out soon. Shut up, Bob.
We have to listen to that Bob Dylan album. But no, so this album was their most successful album, also their last album. So I guess they ended on a commercial high note. So let's see if they ended on a critical high note from our point of view.
Yeah, because
I mean, from
we know that's all that matters.
Yeah, they're waiting with bated breath.
They got all these awards, yes, but what does Sam and Cooper think?
Yeah, sure, we won the Grammy of the Year, but maybe that's why they stopped being. They cracked under the pressure. They couldn't wait any longer.
We weren't even doing this then.
2011 we were, or 2021 we were.
2011, yeah. Oh yeah. 2021, sure, but I'm pretty sure
that's when they disbanded.
I'm pretty sure they broke up before we started, right?
No, 2021.
Well, yeah, but
right, we're in our 4-year anniversary, so that'd be 2019.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good point.
You're old, Sam.
Oh,
the dusts of time roll through you.
I'm the Crypt Keeper. They're remaking that movie. Did you know?
Yeah, right. That's really off track at that point.
Anyway, getting into track number 1 then.
Yes, track number 1. Give life back to music. I can't talk today. Give life back to music.
And I will say for a lot of these, it is kind of a dance album, so it is a bit repetitive at points.
Which is a feature of house music.
Yes.
In general.
Yes. I mean, if you're going to dance to something, it's nice to have a repetitive beat, and most of them do not suffer from it. It's a heck of a way to open the album, that's for sure. Does it immediately, with the building energy and the climbing notes? Does it immediately drop down and feel out of place? Yes, the energy drops way down. The intro does not feel justified.
Yeah, it's a very bombastic intro before it kind of goes into that mellow guitar groove,
Mellow acoustic guitar.
which we will see a lot of throughout this album.
Yeah, I love the opening. Do not like that. I will say it's a good song, but man, if you're gonna go in that high energy, you don't follow it up with acoustic.
I say it's like a little prologue to the rest of to the whole album, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Little blast of energy to get you going.
That's fair. But we got vocoder, a lot of vocoder on the album, which is good because I like it.
Oh yeah, they do not shy away from the vocoder. I mean, it's right here. Starts about a minute into this song, so they put it front and center. And vocoder's kind of been obviously a pretty standard feature of most Daft Punk albums.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say all their most famous songs feature the vocoder. Robot Rock,
Around the World,
Stronger, Around the World. So they bring it back in full force in this album.
Mm-hmm. Which, we need more of that sound today. But
you're quite the fan of the vocoder.
I am. That's why I like Tom Carty so much, because he uses it in every song, even if it's a Western song. He's still got the vocoder in there. He finds some way to put it in there. But on this, we got a nice chill backing track with some nice, a bit of guitar riff over the top, loop heavy, like I was saying, but not annoying. It just kind of vibes.
No, this is a pretty vibe album overall. The song has a little bit of fun with itself, right? It has that explosive entrance. I like the 3:30 mark. There's like crowd noises, I guess you could say.
Like you're at a house party.
Yeah, which okay, I'm gonna admit I'm a sucker for crowd noises in a song. Even though if they're adding after the fact, I don't know, it adds a little fun to the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like me with the environmental track,
Oh yeah, where it like just kind of adds a little something extra. There's this one album by the Avalanches, Since I Left You, that has a bunch of crowd noises like throughout it. And I just eat that up.
It's just nice. Anyway, that's all I've got for track number 1, Coop. If you want to jump to track 2,
I can go into track number 2, "The Game of Love."
And
which again,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it starts just like again. It starts pretty mellow, but it kind of picks it to like a little sexy groove at like the 30-second mark.
Yeah, I'd say it's very stripped back, and low key, but not hollow. And a much heavier focus on the vocals in this one, since it's actually kind of got a little bit more going on than just a dance track.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah, like you said, focus on the vocals. It's also got a nice little synth progression throughout the song.
Oh yeah.
It's low key, but it carries the song forward.
And then the most interesting part to me is around the 350 mark with the held sung notes through the vocoder. It's just such an odd sound, because it's not technically auto-tune, but it is auto-tune. But it's a vocoder still. It's interesting, and it helps move the song, I think.
And I mean, there's something funny about like forlorn Vocaloid.
Yeah.
Vocoder lyrics.
Yeah, not quite Vocaloid, but
yeah, but that same stream. But
yeah.
They're just being kind of forlorn over this kind of funky beat.
Mm-hmm.
It fits though.
It does, yeah. It's a nice song, and then everything at the end kind of just drops out, slowly, just leaving the vibraphone, and then that fades. I think that's. I will say there's a couple songs on here the endings are pretty shit, but that one is a good one.
Yeah, I like the little humming as well. It's got good vibes.
It does. If you compare it to the start of the album, though, man, why did they start with such high energy?
I think you just have to divorce that from the rest of the song, right?
I know you say that, but in the middle of "Give Life Back to Music," they do it again.
They're just making sure you're paying attention.
All right, whatever. Jump to track number 3, if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 3, Giorgio by Moroder. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right.
Mordor.
I don't think it's pronounced Morador. Maybe more Moroder.
This is the longest track on the album, right?
It is 9 minutes long.
Which, to be fair, the first, I guess it's only the first minute 30 is a spoken word interview with Giovanni Giorgio, but his friends call him Giorgio.
Friends call him Jojo.
No, that's not what he says.
I don't know. I heard Jojo.
And around the 40-second mark, we get a bit of a funk instrumental track going on underneath, and that all drops out at the 1:30 mark, and pulls in a click. He's like telling a story of him starting to make music, and he said, if I just add the click from the synthesizer, and then it pulls into this really nasally synth that winds its way between your ears.
Yeah, it's a very interesting song. Because like you said, he's kind of talking about his process of making music.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, Mr. Giorgio, he's kind of considered the quote unquote father of disco or electronic music. He just worked with a lot of different groups: Queen, Elton John, ELO,
Mm-hmm.
Rolling Stones.
What about Bob
and then
Dylan?
I do not see Bob Dylan on here. I don't think Bob Dylan ever delved that deeply into electronic house music.
I hope that's what his next album is.
And he also did like a bunch of like soundtrack work. Superman 3, Scarface, Neverending Story.
Interesting.
So this guy's had a
collection
varied
there.
career. Yeah, this guy's had a varied career. And I guess the song is just kind of tribute to him in general.
It's also used in that one meme of the crosswalk that looks like a guy jerking off. I'll send it to you after.
You don't have to do that.
It's just a crosswalk, the flashing crosswalk symbol.
Yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah, it's just one that's glitching.
No, but it kind of has him talking about his life, and then when it does a little, my friends called me Giorgio. Kind of breaks in this really funky synth lick.
Mm-hmm. Very nasally. That's the best way I can describe it. It's got that sharpness to it. And then that goes on for a while, and then it kind of shifts to a more low-key Wurlitzer synth around the 4-minute mark, combined with more of that funk guitar from the very start during the interview section. It's just it just kind of winds its way down this river path, going from one sound to the other.
Oh, I mean, they get a lot of mileage out of that central synth lick.
Yeah.
It's not a super complex beat.
No.
But it maintains the groove. And then we have like elements of, Mr. Giorgio coming back in and forth of him talking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some violins come in at the 5:15 mark.
Yeah. Which really sticks around when everything comes back in, with the drum set, and the original synth comes back, and there's a funk bass solo and record scratch. It just kind of goes a bit crazy there in the middle. I
do like them adding the record scratches.
Yeah,
you're right. It has a little bit of a kitchen sink vibe at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's like supposed to be like the payoff for 7 minutes of music.
Yeah, and then it all ends with this real deep clicking that I don't know about you, but with my headphones, it kind of rattled my brain once it hit some of those middle ones.
That like thumping.
Yeah, I don't even have the music loud. I listen to it at a very calm level because I would like to keep my hearing well into my old age. Although I'm already there.
Maybe it's how there's like bridges, how like there's frequencies that if the wind hits it right, it like vibrates.
Yeah.
That's like your brain's.
That's what it felt
right
like.
There.
I'll be honest, because it was going down, and then right in the middle there, I was like, oh god, okay, this is uncomfortable, and then it left that range. So I think I found the frequency that would turn my brain to mush.
If you played it for too long, it just dissolved your brain.
Yeah, come out my ears. But I mean, for a long song, it does, for me at least, it keeps my attention all the way through.
Yeah. Did it have to be 9 minutes? Maybe not. But I've definitely heard worse long songs.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it abuses the 9 minutes too much.
No.
Jumping to track 4, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 4, Within.
It starts with some beautiful piano. That I thought a cool touch was it switches to the same tune but played on a synth that's just a little bit softer and less bite than a piano. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, it's a very nice, like, we haven't had, I don't think the album's had any piano so far on the album.
Not to this point.
So it's like a nice new instrument. Obviously, like you said, it gets a synth pretty soon. And, of course, they get the vocoder back in, getting pretty forlorn. And some, like, wind chimes or something in the background.
Yeah, and I mean, the vocals of this one are, again, a bit more of a focus. And that chorus really gets stuck in your head. It really stretches the note scale there.
It's a pretty catchy chorus overall. Huh? Overall, I mean, it's a pretty low-key song.
Yeah, it's a shorter one, too, especially coming off a 9-minute ballad.
Yeah.
I'm ready for track 5 if you are.
Yeah, track number 5, Instant Crush, featuring Julian Casablancas from of the Stokes or the Strokes fame.
And no vocoder on this one. It's auto-tuned, though, by the sounds of it. Still leaning into that heavy electronic sound of the auto-tune. Not trying to make it sound like he's singing perfectly, but trying to get some of that robotic vibe into his voice while still keeping it his voice.
Oh yeah, I mean Julian's a great singer, without any. So it's more of a stylistic choice,
and it works,
which I think makes sense. Obviously, it's be kind of a lot to go from, the previous song was completely vocoded to like pure lyrics. So I think it's a nice middle ground.
And the vocals are a bit more of an instrument here than an actual, focal point. And again, the chorus on this one slaps pretty hard. It seems a lot louder, though, than the rest of the song. I don't know if that was just me, but when the chorus came on, it felt like I turned it up a couple of notches, and then the chorus ended and it got turned back down.
You're saying that the actual chorus was louder?
Yeah, it seemed like it.
I guess, add a little oomph to it.
Bit too slow to be dance, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely not dance music.
Good vibe song, Chorus comes up a lot, but for good reason. It's a good chorus.
I mean, nice synth overall. Nice singing throughout. And like you said, a good little hook on the chorus. I think overall, the album makes good use of its features.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I do. I just noticed. Shouldn't Giorgio be featured on his song? I mean, he didn't sing or produce it, but he talked for it.
Yeah. No, there's some tracks that do have a feature that don't say it. I couldn't tell you why.
Probably some sort of I don't know, some sort of licensing thing.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know the legal aspects of that. Jump into track number 6 if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 6, Lose Yourself.
To dance.
To dance. I don't know. I didn't say the last part. I just completely froze up there.
It's okay.
I lost myself. No, featuring Pharrell Williams.
Yes, not the only Pharrell feature on this album.
No. But definitely the less popular of the two.
Yes, which, in my opinion, for good reason. It's a dance song. Damn, is it repetitive.
Yeah, it's dance, but it's also got a lot of soft rock vibes in it as well. Which is kind of the melding of this album, I would say. It's like, can we make a soft rock dance album?
Yeah. The vocals of the robotic vocoder is an instrument where it just repeats the same phrase over and over again. and then you've got the smooth vocals of Pharrell going over the top. I do like the chord progression and the vocoder voice at the 233 mark. That kind of fun, makes you want to dance a bit. But otherwise, man, it is very repetitive.
And maybe it has something to do with I don't know, Pharrell's boyish vocals. It keeps the energy up.
Mm-hmm.
But also, then it really draws attention to the fact that you're just saying the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Because it draws all the attention there. Yeah, I mean, I like the I like the vocoder again here. It's goofy at some points, but it's still pretty melodic, and I like it when it gets a little goofy there.
Yeah, that's about all I had for that one. It's a good dance piece. I wouldn't sit and listen to it though, probably.
Yeah, definitely not the standout Pharrell feature here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on from a feature of P. Williams to a feature of P. Williams. And that is track number 7, Touch, featuring Paul Williams.
Yes. The amazing Paul Williams. And this starts off kind of like a weird techno horror piece with disturbing vocals. Kind of like, it sounds like a robot who used to be human remembering what it was like to be human. And then Paul comes in and suddenly the vocals aren't horrifying because they're beautifully sung and it's sentimental.
Yeah, so now I do quite like Paul's vocals on this song.
I love his voice. His voice has stayed consistent since the 70s. I swear he sounds exactly the same.
Now he's past his 70s.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like an old oaken barrel, you know? In fact, he wrote Rainbow Connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff with the Muppets. He did stuff with the Beatles. Don't quote me on that. Maybe not. It was something big. Oh no.
Yeah, he's done a lot of producing though.
Yeah. What was it? Three Dog Nights, Old Fashioned Love Song, Out in the Country. No, not Beatles. I don't know why I said that. Maybe because he's British.
That's an Old Fashioned Love Song. He lived in the 60s. He's British. He worked with the Beatles, right?
Yeah, no. But Old Fashioned Love Song is a great song. I love that one a lot. He was actually just at Indiana Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
Didn't have a panel, sadly. At least when I was there. One of his brothers is a NASA rocket scientist who participated in the Mercury and Apollo programs.
Oh, well, that's appropriate for this song because this song is rather spacey.
Yes.
Not just in like vibes, but also like in the wispy words, kind of like whirling of synths.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course all falls away once Paul's vocals come in.
Yeah.
Over some light synth and guitar.
It's very, very emotional. There's a lot of emotion in his lyrics.
Yes.
And
singing.
Oh yeah, of course. And then we get a breakdown of around the 310 mark with honky tonk piano and horns and woodwinds.
Ooh, I like that breakdown.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie.
That is a really good breakdown. And then
it's got this almost like a ragtime beat going on with like brass and flute and piano. Very unexpected, but like, ooh,
nice little touch.
Ooh, hey.
And then you get the choir coming in with the vocoder. Kind of angelic choir with the harsh vocoder, nice juxtaposition, and it's bubbly synth and strings, and then bit of nice extra Paul vocals at the end to take us out.
Yeah, it's like I'm at a Narlands like festival that's taking place in Saturn or something.
Yeah.
Very odd mixing of elements, but they all really come together. Of course, all kind of brought together by Paul's excellent vocals on this song.
Mm-hmm.
Even has like a little choir breakdown, heavenly choir breakdown at the end.
Yes. I will say the one bad thing, the ending is a bit anticlimactic for my tastes.
Oh, where it's just like a vocal dropout.
Yeah, it just kind of ends.
I think that was intentional. Like supposed to be very abrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I just wanted something a little bit different. I feel like it didn't fully do credit. Give full credit, you know.
Well, then how about we move on to the next track on this album, track number 8, Get Lucky, featuring Pharrell Williams and Nile Rodgers.
I'm not sure I've heard this one before.
No, it didn't pop up.
No,
One of their deeper cuts.
It wasn't played everywhere consistently for 2 years after it came out.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say that "Get Lucky" is their biggest song.
Yeah, and a lot of time it's not even credited to them. People always think of Pharrell Williams because he's the.
To be fair, he's the lead singer.
Yeah.
That for some reason Spotify is showing that. Oh wait, never mind. On the album release, "Instant Crush" with Julian Casablancas has more plays. That's not counting the singles version of "Get Lucky" / the radio edit.
Yeah.
Which has like 1 billion plays. So.
Yeah, that would have a lot.
So yeah, and I mean, I don't blame it for being such a catchy song. I mean, that clearer chorus is catchy as heck. I think Pharrell's vocals are used better in this song, honestly. He has that kind of stacked vocals, obviously boyish with the chorus, a big focal and vocal point, huh?
Well,
And instrumentation's not too complex, but I think that kind of lends itself to the catchiness of it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, what can we say about this song? It's crazy how much it blew up, I think. Maybe it was just because of how big Pharrell was at the time. But it's good. It's very, very repetitive.
House music, soft rock kind of melding together.
Yeah. I will never get tired of vocoder, but I will get tired of the line, "We're up all night to get lucky" being repeated.
Yes. That's probably part of the reason it's so catchy. They just say it so many damn times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Pharrell fan. I like his NERD work. So I'm a fan of his vocals, so I don't get tired of them. But if you don't like Pharrell singing, then you definitely won't like this song.
Yeah. No, I like this song well enough, and plus I like his vocals quite a bit. He's got a very good voice. It's just sitting and listening to it, fine. Sitting and analyzing it, you're not supposed to listen that close to this song.
All right, plus this is the album version, so it's 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'm sure the radio edit's probably like 4 minutes or something.
The radio edit is, I think, a bit shorter. Oh. But yeah,
done a nice little synth lick though.
Yeah. No, I think they might have removed some of the mid vocoder section from the radio edit. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've heard the radio edit.
When's the last time you listened to the radio?
I listen to it usually every day when I go to work.
Okay, Grandpa.
They usually don't play music other than classical on NPR though.
Well, then let's go to track number 9 then. Beyond. The beginning of the song sounds like the intro to like a Super Mario Galaxy level.
Yeah. I think this sounds a little bit like I forget which one, but it sounds, is it Within? It sounds a lot like one of the earlier tracks to me.
Well, like the opening?
Well, the whole song. It's just kind of another low key. I feel like it didn't do too much different.
I mean, the opening was different, but they don't hang on to it long enough.
No.
It's like this very bombastic orchestral soaring violins and brass kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then it just goes into a guitar groove.
Yeah. And
with vocoder.
They do get a little bit of strings in there to help carry it along, and the vocals are fresh. They're not repeating. But I mean, that only goes on for 2 minutes, and then you've got 2 minutes of instrumental loop for outro, and it feels like it got all it needed to with less time. This feels like the song that goes on for too long, the 4-minute song.
Yeah, I wish it did more with its orchestral elements.
Yeah,
because otherwise the back 3/4 of the song are pretty standard for this album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this one.
Well, let's go to track number 10 then.
Track number 10, Motherboard.
We got some nice heavy bass, floating flute over the top, strings to add some depth. otherwise, I don't know. It's again, this one doesn't really have a lot going for it.
Oh, the percussion's doing a little something extra in the background with his bongos.
True, yeah.
It has some violin right off the bat with some flutes. Got some flutes going.
The flutes are very nice, but I feel like it doesn't evolve enough because we get that blank section around 220 that lasts a little bit too long. Like they're turning up the volume, but they're doing it a bit just too slowly, and you kind of fall asleep during it.
What about that really wet section?
Yes, the
like
running
the
creek at
mark.
the end. They get bonus points for using creek sounds, but
it almost goes into like a forgotten alien, like arena type beat.
Yeah.
I think the song's doing more than you're giving it credit for.
Yeah.
It ends on a rain stick. You love the rain stick, Sam.
Yeah, I do like a range stick, but I don't know. I just it's not doing it for me.
Well, I like it.
Well, we can jump to track number 11 then.
Track number 11, Fragments of Time, featuring Todd Edwards. Which, yeah, I think it's a pretty nice mellow song. Of course, has that guitar picking in the background. All the songs do.
Yeah, of course. Again, a very good chorus melody, but I gotta come out and say it. I really don't like Todd Edwards' vocals, other than the chorus. Something about them just rubs me the wrong way.
I would say he is the weakest feature here vocally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like completely melding with it. I get what you're saying.
Just something.
There's like a slight roughness to it.
Yeah, his voice just doesn't mesh super well with the style. I mean, there's other good things about the song. You know, the Steely Dan guitar esque vocoder around the 3-ish minute mark makes up for a lot. That sounds really nice, but I don't know. I just don't like. I don't like his vocals. And then the ending of this one, too, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the song. It just kind of ends. It feels like they're rushing to get off stage for the next song.
I do like the kind of subtly glitchy production of the song, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not super in your face, but the piano's kind of jumping all over the place and the synth's kind of going from ear to ear. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, overall,
great, but
it's not super high energy, and Todd Edwards not super doing it for me vocal wise.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's a decent cut.
Yeah, I just not the biggest fan.
How about we go on then to track number 12 then, Doing It Right.
Speaking of repetitive.
Yeah. Featuring Panda Bear, co-founding member of the band Animal Collective. Which has, if you like the words "doing it right," you're gonna like this song because they say that song a lot.
Yeah, uses the vocals as an instrument, one of two instruments, along with the bass.
There's percussion in the background.
Oh, sorry. There's also a drum pad. The main vocals are nice. Panda sounds very nice, but again, just as repetitive as Doing It Right on vocoder.
I didn't care for Panda's vocals. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I like his vocal stylings better than Todd Edwards.
They were a little yelpy for my tastes.
They got on my eye. They got on my mind. They got on my nerves.
You okay?
I'm having a stroke. They got on my nerves the longer they went on.
Yeah, this one's a very stripped back song. Kind of doesn't build anything. And I didn't like the vocals, and that was like one of three things that was on this song.
Yes.
So
And then
can't say I was a fan of here.
It just ends.
This one definitely just ends. I guess that's the point of house music, is that it's supposed to meld into the next song, right? So on an album, it's not. I guess they didn't really care about the ending so much.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of endings.
Yeah, let's go to the final track on the album, track number 13, Contact.
Yes. And it starts with an excerpt from, do you know, Cooper?
I don't, but I know you know.
Okay. It is an excerpt from, I think it was Apollo 17, from Gene Cernan, speaking about something outside the capsule. It was later thought to be a discarded rocket stage. And it was also interesting because Gene Cernan was, do you know?
No.
Bueller, the last man on the moon.
Oh,
at least as when we're recording this right now. And being used on the last song of the album, also their last studio album. Interesting choice.
You think they could make a whole album just out of astronaut chatter? I don't think so.
There'd be at least one really good song on that album, I'd think.
No, but I think it's an interesting use. I mean, this is the only time on the album they do something like that. I guess if you count Giorgio's song, but
that's the second time. But
this is different. Where it's like a recording, like you said, like astronaut chatter.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they go for like kind of a spacey synth vibe. No, blown up synth. Some pretty nice percussion. I'll say I like the percussion on this song.
Yeah, and it's a real harsh electronic sound as well.
Yeah, they kind of get back to their early Homework, album vibes here,
which,
just for a little bit.
Honestly, I might have to go listen to that next because after this, I was so sleepy. I'm like, finally, some higher energy. Like, come on.
Oh man. Next time you're just you're trying to do something higher energy, listen to Homework, and also turn the volume down before you go into
yes.
it.
Well,
that is a busy album.
I've got something from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, for the end of this one, but we've got real harsh electronic that just kind of builds and builds and builds. And there's not, I mean, it's hard to describe exactly what's going on because it's just kind of going all over the place.
Is this noise? Did they invent noise?
I believe this is
no. I mean, it actually is close to noise. Very, very wall of sound.
Yes.
Like a motorcycle gearing up. But I kind of respect they kind of ended out on like a went back to their roots on this one.
Yeah, and it ends with it just kind of cuts with electronic humming, and it sounds as somebody like half removed a jack from the amp, which I thought was a nice touch, and then it fully pulls out there at the end.
Yeah, it's like a robot overloading or something.
Yeah. Well, you say that upon playback of the completed contact, the studio speakers had blown out as a result of the sound from the end of the track.
Wow.
He likened the effect to the end of a rock concert where guitars are thrown to the floor. NME interpreted the sound as not unlike a huge pyramid blasting off into space, a reference to the stage visuals of Daft Punk's Alive 2007-2006 tour. So,
I guess that says an appropriate album or career ender as you can go out on.
Yeah, I don't think there would be a better spot on this album for it, mainly because it's actually high energy compared to the rest.
Putting this like beyond in front of like Get Lucky would be very
in front of Touch
whiplashy. So, no, I think even though it's not really congruent with the rest of the album, it's a good closer.
Yes, I think it's a good closer and also a good closer for their career. It kind of caps things off nicely.
Jeez.
It almost seems like they knew.
Hey, I mean, I guess it took them 8 years, but
yeah,
they closed it down eventually.
Just a side note, right after this song ended, it went to Son of Flynn from Tron Legacy. We might have to break our movie rule score and review that album, but
yeah, but that's it for this album.
Yeah, that's the album.
That is the album.
So Cooper, what would you say your least favorite track is?
Probably have to go with Doing It Right. I mean, it's repetitive, which a lot of the albums on this, or a lot of the songs on this album are. I didn't care for the vocals. It was very stripped back instrumentally, to its detriment, I think. Yeah, and I think it's just all the negatives that are kind of sprinkled throughout this album kind of congealed into one song. What about you, Sam?
I have to go with Fragments of Time, I think. But maybe Doing It Right. I don't know. I'm second guessing myself now. Because at least with Fragments of Time, it's got that fun Steely Dan section. Doing It Right isn't even fast enough to be a dance song, so it doesn't have that excuse. I'm gonna tie it maybe I'm the more I'm hearing "Do It Right" loop in my head, I'm leaning more and more towards that. But both of those are not wonderful in my opinion. What about your favorite, Cooper? What would your favorite be?
Ooh, I'd probably have to go with Touch. Honestly, with Paul Williams. It's a longer cut, 8 minutes long, but I think it earns it. Paul's great vocals, goes interesting places with the instrumentation. I think it earns every minute of it, and has a nice dramatic arc throughout, and great instrumentation and production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just really like Touch. What about you?
I have to agree.
Ooh.
It is by far the strongest song on this album, in my opinion. Yeah, whatever. Who cares about Get Lucky? Touch is where it's at. I'm
there we
also
go.
a sucker for Paul Williams, but that's another topic.
Well, that means it's just time to give our rating,
Yeah,
Samuel.
So I believe it's your turn to explain the rating system.
I believe so. Well, here at the Audio Shop Podcast, we've never said this, but we've actually wanted to make an airplane themed podcast. Originally, called Just Plain Listening, but it was already taken.
Yeah,
and they have hundreds of thousands of followers. So clearly we missed the plane on that one. So we went for the much lowlier, down to earth, car themed audio podcast. And thus all our ratings are car themed. So at the tip top, cream of the crop, you have your showroom. This is the best of the best. Your I want to listen to it again and again kind of album. And then all the way at the bottom, you got your scrapyard. Your yuck, get it away from me, bottom of the barrel garbage that you never want to touch again with a 10-foot pole. Then we'll have like a new, a fixer-upper, used rental, high-low there in the middle, kind of depending on our feeling there. So with that being said, Sam, what do you rate Daft Punk's Random Access Memories?
I think I'm going to have to give it a high like new. I think it is a very good album. I don't think it breaks into that showroom. It is very good, but there's a lot of kind of just, it's a little too low energy, Some of the songs are a bit stripped back. I don't know. It feels like it should be a showroom, but for some reason I can't put it all the way up there.
No, I'm I'm in agreement. I'm going with the like new as well. Which I went in remembering. I'm like, I think this might be a showroom, but to your point, I think it has enough weaknesses that it can't really break into that ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Not to diminish it, I still think this is a great album.
Yeah.
But there's some rougher cuts, Fragments of Time, Doing It Right. Some of the beat sides aren't exactly airtight. And I think sometimes it gets a little too mellow.
Mm-hmm.
Overall. I'm a fan of some of obviously Daft Punk's kind of more energetic and electronic genre, doings that in their earlier stuff. Not that I don't think they pretty impressively kind of melded, soft rock with electronic.
Yes.
That's a pretty hard mixture that they pulled off mostly successfully on this album. So definitely want to give credit where credit's due. So I think a like new is probably the most comfortable rating you could give here, right? Not perfect, but definitely a strong outing.
Yeah, I think if they had mixed a little bit more high energy into it, they could have done it. But I think it's just a little too low, and some of the lower sections are a bit repetitive. I don't know. Anyway, still very good.
Now, Guy Manuel and Tomas are going to be crying into their Album of the Year Grammy.
Yeah,
they didn't get our highest ranking.
No, it's still a very good album. You definitely should go listen to it. But
oh yeah, and the it's worth mentioning the 10th anniversary edition has a lot of fun little extras at the end, like some Japanese CD exclusives, some studio outtakes, some demos. It's kind of nice just to see some of the behind the scenes of some of their songs.
But that's the album. It is.
That is
it
the
very
album.
good. Go give it a listen. And now we're gonna roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this past week. I don't remember if I finished all of Jungle Jane by Takanaka. I think I did, and it was a lot better. I enjoyed it quite a bit more than the previous two before it. But that was all I got to this week. Work really kicked my ass, and I didn't get to listen to much. What about you? Did you listen to anything?
Yeah, I listened to some. I listened to American Football's album, American Football. Some pretty quintessential Midwest emo there. The new Lonnie Holly album, "Oh Me Oh My," was quite good. Very dramatic. Really liked the Lemon Twigs' album, "Everything Harmony." That album actually legitimately slaps. And I have to give that a hard recommend. I'd listened to some of their singles previously, so I was surprised that they came out with such a super solid album. And just some Pharoah Sanders here and there, some jazz stuff. That was kind of me overall this last week.
Some good ones.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all that we have for today, Sam.
I think that's it. If you've liked what you've heard for some reason, you can scroll down to the picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the fake afro. Click there. It'll take you to YouTube where all our past episodes, minus a couple, are. And if you're listening on YouTube and would like to listen live, if you go to the description, there's a link to the Twitch, and we're live usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Are you going to be around next weekend, Cooper?
No.
Okay, so not next weekend. Oh, right, because you're traveling, and then probably not the weekend after that too, right?
I should be available for that weekend.
I might not be. We'll see.
Hey, you just wanted me to say an excuse first, so it could be my fault.
Yes. Most of the time, you will not be here, so I can use an excuse. So,
Well.
Did Twitter still exists?
Pot meat kettle.
I don't keep up on that. Has it died yet? Is it the right wing?
No, Twitter still exists, so you can follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD. We'll let you know what album we're gonna listen to and when we're gonna listen to it. So drop us a follow there. And I think that's it.
Yeah. So that's all we got. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.